Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is the trade recap for the day before Thanksgiving, November 26th, 2025. So, did have two trades today, almost three. Glad that I filtered out one loss, one win. Jumping into the charts here, you can see the executions here on micro NASDAQ. So, one loss here, and we did avoid one loss here. We did avoid a loss in here, kind of in the middle of silver bullet hour, and then one win during 11 a.m. macro. And just let's dive into the price actions today. Kind of what I was thinking. I did have some stream difficulties and some stream issues early on. So my first trade, the stream actually crashed like in the middle of my first trade, so it wasn't caught. The actual stop out wasn't necessarily caught, but we restarted the stream and we kind of talked through it. But let's go over kind of what we were thinking here. So going into today, if we were to jump out here and show both ES and NASDAQ side by side, we have a couple things. One, this was our previous weekly high on ES, right? And our previous weekly high, you can see here, is 361 on NASDAQ. So we had traded already two previous weekly high on ES, but we hadn't gotten there yet on NQ. We opened up the morning right here. And so we had an SMT divergence there. However, I was not really expecting the SMT at the previous weekly high to hold. It's still middle of the week. And I just felt like NQ was strong enough that we were going to keep expanding. We had inversed all of the inefficiencies here to the left. And even on this 4 hour, we were holding a bullish 4 hour fair value gap. So to me, I'm thinking that we're going to just more than likely get a continuation. However, I did end up taking a short, and oddly enough, well, maybe not oddly enough, ended up being what failed, right? It's the trade that I lost. So going into market open here, let's jump up here to the 1 minute time frame. And here at market open, so market opens up right here. We see price move higher, and we had generated some nice lows in Asia, right? So if I were to just show you guys Asia low here, we had generated the lows here and generated relative equal lows right above it. Now we did have an SMT here, right? At the Asia low with ES. ES had taken this out. But this move had sponsored this high at the open. So when we had this move up to these highs at the open and then started rejecting and coming back down, I felt like that SMT at the lows had done its job and we could see price retrace. So this was our first presented fair value gap. You can see that we displaced down back below 930 open, leave this gap. And I didn't even enter right away on this. I waited for this second candle, this bearish candle to close before I actually ended up entering. So I entered shorts right here on this gap with my stop at this recent high. And as you guys can see, we get ran out, but was targeting Asia lows down here. And then we just ended up with this insane chop fest all the way from, 10 o'clock, basically until the beginning of the 11 a.m. macro. Was looking for potential continuation shorts to Asia low in this time window, but ended up filtering it out, just didn't like it. And it didn't deliver anyway, so it doesn't really matter all too much. But getting into the second trade here was actually framed more so off of the 5 minute time frame. So on this 5 minute time frame, we see a couple things. One, this 5 minute bearish gap ends up getting disrespected. Where I was initially looking to short this down to Asia lows was actually this 5 minute gap, trying to see if we get that Asia low delivery, and we just were not willing to give that delivery there, holding the lows. We actually inverse this 5 minute gap, and then we also leave behind, going into the macro, this 5 minute bullish gap, which ends up holding. So this is a 5 minute BPR. I was going to be willing to short this if we did close below it on this 5 minute candle, but the bodies are just showing us that it's not willing to go lower. So jumped down to the 1 minute time frame and ended up taking my long position right here off of this inversion fair value gap. So here we inverse this bearish gap. On the 1 minute time frame, I enter long with a buy limit on the retest of this inversion. And I had my stop loss right about here. And the reason that I had a 20-point stop on this, the reason that I had my stop loss here is because I just wanted my stop loss to be protected by this inversion fair value gap. This is also the first presented fair value gap that we're closing above as well. So I want the first presented fair value gap to protect my stop loss, this inversion fair value gap to protect my stop loss. And then the last thing that I was looking at was this up close candle right here. And basically these wicks. So I'm looking at price. Like if we zoom in here and just look at this, like this is all efficient. Here's a fair value gap. It's already traded back into it, and then we trade higher. All of this is efficient. We're wicking back down. We're not leaving any more inefficiencies. Like there's really no other reason for price to continue any lower if we're on side, right? So that's why I put my stop here, just protected by 1, 2, 3 PD arrays, first presented gap, inversion fair value gap, and order block. So that is why I put my stop where I did. And then I was simply looking to target recent buy side levels like this high here, this high. And then some people I know were holding trades all the way to that previous weekly high, which we did end up taking. I obviously did not hold nearly that far. I'll show you guys if I jump over here to MNQ. Again, the executions, it's going to look like shit. I was in 10 micros on this. So I did 10 micros for my entry. 10 micros for my entry, 20-point stop, took 2 off here initially and then 1 more. So I took 3 off total here. And the reason for it is because we started SMTing with ES at this external high. So we're SMTing with ES at the external high, like right at 11 a.m. So just in case we were pretty range bound already. So me thinking that we could see retracement, obviously I was already red from this trade here. So I was trading my P&L a little bit, if I'm being honest. Wanting to secure, get my way back into green on the day. Right. So that's kind of where my mind was at. I know it's not great to trade your P&L, but I did it. So don't sue me. And then we finally get a trade back above this high as well, taking out that bearish SMT. And at that point, took another partial and yeah, but was trying to hold this to the recent buy side level right here at, what is this price? Was trying to hold to here, 310, but I was also kind of time stopping my trade. I was just trying to capture the move that was taking place in the macro and not, hold myself into any deeper retracement. So I ended up closing the full trade out here at 11:06, which was the last 5-minute candle of the 11 a.m. macro. We do kind of chop around and install for a little bit, and then eventually 11:20 we get this move up to 310 buy side, and then just we see continuation in the 11 o'clock hour to that previous weekly high 362. So that was my buy side objective for the day. Objective has been met, and yeah, not the cleanest day, but we made do. Ended up going back into green after being down. Was down about $540 per account after the loss, and now sitting up to just under $250 per account after the win. So total profit of $1,200 across the 5 accounts. And yeah, it's been a pretty decent week. I mean, green every single day. This was the only L of my entire trading week was this trade right here. I was able to make that back with some profit. So I guess it could be worse. Green every single day this week. Short trading week, obviously the week of Thanksgiving. And yeah, man, just did what we could. So I will leave it at that, guys. Hopefully you guys had a good week this week. And I would just say, hey, enjoy time with your family. Enjoy your Thanksgiving celebrations. Enjoy some food, all that fun stuff, guys. But appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. If you're not in the Discord, hop in the Discord. We're going to do some giveaways over the Thanksgiving and Black Friday weekend. And also, guys, 40% off Tradeify accounts. Lightning funded and growth accounts Black Friday sale is live and ends after this weekend. So take advantage of that. The link will be in the description of this video. Code Tyler as always. And without further ado, boys, I will see you guys back here next week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, everybody.